Stop eating that one food every morning if you're taking blood pressure medication. You think it's healthy. Your doctor never warned you about it. Your spouse probably eats it too. But if you're over 60 and taking Amlodipine, Losartan, or Lisinopril, this single common food is quietly canceling your medication, pill by pill, day by day. And your blood pressure numbers are telling the story, even if you can't read it yet. I know that sounds impossible. You've been taking your pills every morning. You haven't missed a dose in years. Your prescription is filled. Your routine is the same. So why are your numbers creeping up? Why does your doctor keep raising your dose? Why do you still feel that pressure behind your eyes? That fatigue after lunch? That dizziness when you stand up too fast? Here's what nobody tells you. The pill is doing its job, but the food on your plate is undoing it faster than the medication can work. And the most frightening part, it's a food the entire medical establishment told you was good for you. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn the exact food, the exact reason it blocks your medication. The 5 common foods that do this same thing, ranked from least dangerous to the one nearly every senior in America eats every single day. And the simple change you can make tonight that will let your pills finally work the way they were designed to. The number 1 food on this list, fewer than 2% of seniors know it, interferes with these 3 medications. Your cardiologist may not know. Your pharmacist may not have told you. But by the end of this video, you will know exactly what it is and what to do about it. Take a breath. You're in the right place. The narrator behind this video has spent 15 years studying cardiovascular pharmacology and the way ordinary foods interact with the most prescribed blood pressure medications in the country. And this isn't abstract research. This is personal. Because a few years ago, his own father, a man who took his Lisinopril every morning without fail for 9 years, ended up in an emergency room with a blood pressure reading of 192/110. He had done everything right. He had taken every pill, and yet his pressure was uncontrolled. The cardiologist on call asked one simple question. What did he eat for breakfast? And the answer to that question changed everything. It's the same question being asked of you right now. So if you're sitting there thinking, I take my medication, I trust my doctor, I do what I'm told, good. That's exactly the right place to start. You're not doing anything wrong. You're missing one piece of information that no one ever handed you. That's what this video is for. Now here's the reframe. And this is the most important sentence you'll hear today. You think the problem is your blood pressure. You think the problem is your heart. You think the problem is that your medication isn't strong enough, or that you need a higher dose, or that your body is just getting older and there's nothing to be done. That's what you've been told for years. Take the pill. Trust the pill. The pill will handle it. But after 60, the real problem isn't the pill. The real problem is what's sitting in your stomach when the pill arrives. Because every medication you swallow has to be absorbed, metabolized, and delivered through a complex system of enzymes in your liver and your small intestine. And certain foods you eat every single day without thinking, interfere with those enzymes. They block them. They overload them. They speed them up or slow them down in ways that mean your pill never reaches the bloodstream at the dose your doctor prescribed. That's why everything you've tried hasn't worked. Not because you did it wrong. Not because the medication is bad. Not because you're broken. But because no one explained the one missing step. What to eat, what to avoid, and when to take your pill in relation to your meal. Treating high blood pressure with the right medication and the wrong breakfast is like pouring fresh water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You can pour all day. The bucket never fills. The medication is the water. The food is the hole. And until you patch the hole, nothing changes. Now let's talk about why this matters. Because this isn't a small inconvenience. This isn't a few points on a blood pressure cuff. This is the difference between independence and a hospital bed. Uncontrolled blood pressure is the leading cause of stroke in adults over 65. 75% of first strokes happen in people whose blood pressure is poorly controlled, and a significant portion of those people are taking their medication. They just aren't absorbing it. A stroke at 70 doesn't just take your speech or your right arm. It takes your driver's license. It takes your ability to live alone. It takes the morning walks with your spouse, the phone calls with your grandchildren, the small dignities of getting dressed by yourself in the morning. And it's not just stroke. Uncontrolled hypertension silently damages your kidneys, thickens the walls of your heart, weakens the small blood vessels behind your eyes, and triples your risk of falling because of dizziness when your medication finally does kick in unevenly. 1 in 4 seniors who fall and break a hip never walks unassisted again. That's the price of a blood pressure reading that's 20 points higher than it should be. But here's the relief. You don't need a new prescription. You don't need a stronger dose. You don't need to add a third or a fourth medication to the pile on your nightstand. You just need to know which foods to move, which foods to remove, and which time of day to take your pill. That's it. That's the whole fix. It's free. It starts tomorrow morning. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do it. So here's what's coming. 5 common foods that block or weaken amlodipine, losartan, and lisinopril, the 3 most prescribed blood pressure medications in America. Ranked from number 5, the least harmful but still a problem, all the way to number 1. The food nearly every senior over 65 eats every single day, often within minutes of swallowing the pill, and the one almost no one knows about. Stay with this video because food number 1 is the one most likely to be on your kitchen table right now. Before we get into food number 5, do one small thing. In the comments below, type your age and which medication you take. Amlodipine, losartan, lisinopril, or all 3. That single piece of information helps build a picture of who needs this message most. 1 word, 1 number, that's all. Now let's begin. Food number 5 is salt-cured and processed meats, bacon, ham, deli turkey, salami, sausage links, the breakfast meats that have been part of the American morning for generations. Here's what's happening inside your body. These meats carry an enormous sodium load, often 800 to 1200 milligrams in a single serving. Sodium pulls water into your bloodstream by osmotic pressure. Think of your blood vessels as a garden hose. Sodium is the hand twisting the spigot wider. More water in the hose means more pressure against the walls. Your medication is trying to relax those walls. The sodium is fighting it pound for pound. A study published in the Journal of the American Society of Hypertension found that seniors consuming more than 2,000 milligrams of sodium per day saw a 44% reduction in the effectiveness of ACE inhibitors like lisinopril. 44%. That means your 10 milligram pill is acting like a 5 milligram pill. You're taking the full dose. Your body is using half. Walter, 71, a retired postal carrier from Albuquerque, had been on lisinopril for 6 years. His morning routine was 2 strips of bacon, 2 eggs, and toast. His blood pressure averaged 152/94 despite the medication. His daughter, a nurse, convinced him to swap the bacon for a small bowl of oats and a sliced pear for 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. He went back to his doctor and his reading was 131/82. He hadn't changed his pill. He hadn't exercised more. He had just removed the bacon. He cried in the parking lot. Not because the number was lower, but because he realized how many years he had spent worrying about a problem that had a fork and plate solution. Here's the how-to. If you eat breakfast meat, limit it to 1 serving per week, not per day. When you do eat it, take your blood pressure medication at least 2 hours before or 4 hours after. Read every label. Anything over 400 milligrams of sodium per serving belongs in the once-a-week category, not the daily. That's food number 5. But food number 4 is something nearly every senior reaches for thinking it's the healthy choice. The one your doctor probably recommended. The one on every heart-healthy poster in every clinic in the country. Food number 4 is canned vegetables and canned soups, including the ones labeled low sodium and heart-healthy. You read that right. The cans with the green check mark on the front, the ones with the friendly fonts that promise wellness. Here's the trap. Low sodium does not mean low sodium enough. A can labeled reduced sodium can still carry 600 milligrams in a single bowl, and the lining of the can itself contains a chemical compound that mimics estrogen-like activity in the body, which research at the University of Cincinnati has linked to a 12% increase in vascular stiffness in adults over 60. Think of your arteries like a fresh rubber band when you're young, flexible, snapping back to shape. Now think of an old rubber band that's been left in a hot drawer for 10 years, brittle, stiff. That's what happens when arterial walls lose their elasticity. Amlodipine works by relaxing those walls. If the walls are already stiffened by inflammation and chemical exposure, the medication has less to work with. It's like trying to stretch that brittle rubber band. You can pull, but it won't give the way it used to. Dorothy, 68, a retired school teacher from Knoxville, had been told her whole life that canned vegetables were a smart choice because they were cheap, easy, and vegetables are vegetables. She ate canned green beans, canned corn, and a cup of canned tomato soup almost every day. Her amlodipine dose had been raised 3 times in 5 years. When her granddaughter started cooking with her on Sunday afternoons, fresh frozen vegetables, homemade broth from a slow cooker, Dorothy's blood pressure dropped 14 points in 6 weeks. Her cardiologist asked what changed. She said, "I started eating like my mother did." Here's the how-to. Replace canned vegetables with frozen. Frozen vegetables are flash frozen at peak ripeness with no added sodium and no can lining. They cost about the same. They last 6 months in your freezer. For soup, make a large pot once a week and freeze portions in glass containers. If you must use a can, rinse the contents under cold water for 30 seconds before cooking. This removes up to 40% of the surface sodium. That helps your arteries. But the next food on the list does something different. It doesn't just raise your pressure. It directly attacks the enzyme that breaks down your medication. And nearly every senior over 60 has it in their refrigerator right now. Food number 3 is grapefruit and grapefruit juice. Now you may have heard whispers about this one. Maybe a pharmacist mentioned it once. Maybe there's a small sticker on your pill bottle that you've stopped noticing. But almost no one explains what's actually happening. And almost no one realizes that the warning applies even if you eat the grapefruit hours after the pill. Here's the mechanism. Your small intestine contains an enzyme called CYP3A4. Think of this enzyme as a customs officer at the border of your bloodstream. Every medication you swallow has to pass through that customs check. The officer decides how much gets through and how much gets sent back. Amlodipine is processed by this exact enzyme. Grapefruit contains compounds called furanocoumarins. These compounds don't just slow the customs officer down. They knock him out cold for up to 72 hours. When the officer is unconscious, the entire shipment of amlodipine floods through unchecked. Your blood concentration of the drug can spike to dangerous levels, sometimes 200 to 300% above the prescribed dose. That sounds like the medication is working better, but it's not. It's the same as taking 3 pills at once. The result is sudden drops in blood pressure, dizziness on standing, fainting, and an increased risk of falling. A study in the Canadian Medical Association Journal documented a 53% increase in adverse events in patients over 65 who consumed grapefruit while taking calcium channel blockers like amlodipine. 53%. And the effect doesn't disappear by lunchtime. 1/2 of a grapefruit at breakfast can affect your medication for 3 full days. Raymond, 74, a retired civil engineer from Tucson, started having dizzy spells in the afternoon that scared his wife so badly she stopped letting him drive. He'd been taking amlodipine for 8 years without a problem. The only thing that had changed was that his wife started buying fresh grapefruit at the farmer's market every Saturday, and he ate half every morning because grapefruit is good for you. His doctor asked the right question. They removed the grapefruit. Within 10 days, the dizzy spells were gone. He got his car keys back. Here's the how-to. If you take amlodipine, losartan, or any statin, eliminate grapefruit, grapefruit juice, pomelos, and Seville oranges completely, not reduced. Eliminated. The interaction is dose-independent and lasts up to 3 days from a single serving. If you love citrus, switch to regular oranges, tangerines, or lemons. These do not contain furanocoumarins and are completely safe with your medication. Quick pause. If this is news to you, if no one ever told you about grapefruit and your blood pressure pill, hit the like button right now before we go on. That single tap tells the algorithm to show this video to other seniors who need to hear it. And we still have 2 foods to cover, including the food at number 1 that's almost certainly in your kitchen right now. Food number 2 is something nearly every senior eats every single morning, thinking it's the healthiest thing on the plate. It's been recommended for decades. It's on the cover of magazines about aging well. It's in every assisted living dining hall in America. Food number 2 is bananas, and high-potassium foods eaten in excess with potassium-sparing blood pressure medications. Now stop. Don't panic. Bananas are not poison. Potassium is essential. But here's what no one explains. Losartan and Lisinopril are both medications that cause your body to retain potassium. That's part of how they work. They block a hormone system called RAAS, the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. And one of the side effects of blocking that system is that potassium stays in your blood instead of being excreted by your kidneys. Now add a banana every morning, add a baked potato at dinner, add a glass of orange juice at lunch, add a handful of dried apricots as a snack. Each one of those is healthy on its own, but stacked together with a medication that already raises your potassium, you can develop a condition called hyperkalemia, too much potassium in the blood, which causes your heart's electrical system to misfire. Think of your heart as an orchestra. Potassium is the conductor. The right amount keeps every musician in time. Too much potassium, and the conductor starts waving his arms wildly. The violins come in early, the drums miss the beat, and the whole symphony falls apart. That's an arrhythmia. That's why some seniors on Losartan develop a slow, irregular heartbeat that their doctor can't explain. A review published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found that seniors over 65 taking ACE inhibitors, or ARBs, had a 38% higher risk of clinically significant hyperkalemia when daily potassium intake exceeded 4,700 milligrams. That's 2 bananas, 1 potato, and a glass of orange juice. A normal day for many seniors. Margaret, 75, from Phoenix, had been on Losartan for 4 years. She started feeling a fluttering in her chest after lunch every day. Her cardiologist ordered an EKG, and her potassium level came back at 5.8, well above the safe range. They traced it to her diet: banana with breakfast, sweet potato at lunch, spinach salad at dinner, tomato sauce on her pasta, all healthy, all stacked. She reduced her potassium-rich foods to 1 serving a day instead of 4 or 5, and within 3 weeks her levels normalized and the fluttering stopped. Here's the how-to. If you take Losartan Lisinopril or any ACE inhibitor or ARB, limit yourself to 1 high-potassium food per day. That means 1 banana, or 1 baked potato, or 1 cup of orange juice, not all of them. Get your potassium level checked every 6 months with a simple blood test. And avoid salt substitutes like no salt or new salt entirely. These are made of potassium chloride and can push you into dangerous territory overnight. 1 serving of potassium a day, not 0, just 1. That's the rule. Now stay with this, because food number 1 is the most common breakfast food in America. The one your doctor has almost certainly recommended, and the one that's silently sabotaging your pill in a way no one talks about. Before the reveal, take a moment. If you're learning something useful, type the word "ready" in the comments. 1 word, that's it. It tells the algorithm to show this video to other seniors who need this message. And it tells the narrator that you're still with us for the most important food on the list. Here it is. Food number 1. The food fewer than 2% of seniors know interferes with amlodipine, losartan, and lisinopril. Food number 1 is dairy, specifically calcium-rich dairy taken within 2 hours of your blood pressure medication. Milk in your coffee, yogurt for breakfast, a glass of milk with your morning pill, cottage cheese with your fruit, cream cheese on your toast. Now think about your morning. You wake up, you pour yourself a cup of coffee with a splash of milk. You take your blood pressure pill with that coffee. Or you eat a bowl of yogurt and granola and swallow your pill with it. Or you have cereal with milk, and your medication sits in the same stomach as a cup of cow's milk for the next hour. Here's what's happening. Calcium, the very mineral your bones need, the one your doctor told you to get more of after 60, binds directly to certain blood pressure medications in your stomach and small intestine. It physically attaches to the drug molecules and prevents them from being absorbed. The medication doesn't get destroyed. It just gets escorted out of your body in the bathroom without ever entering your bloodstream. Picture this. Your medication is a small key designed to unlock a receptor on your blood vessel walls. Calcium acts like a piece of chewing gum stuck onto that key. The key can't fit the lock anymore. The receptor stays closed. The blood vessel stays tight. Your pressure stays high. A clinical pharmacology review published in the British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology demonstrated that calcium intake of over 500 milligrams within 2 hours of an ACE inhibitor reduced absorption by up to 60%. 60%. A glass of milk with breakfast can cut your lisinopril in half. And here's the part that almost no senior knows. This same effect applies to calcium supplements. The bone-strengthening tablet you take in the morning with your coffee may be the single biggest reason your blood pressure won't come down. Helen, 74, a retired bookkeeper from Tampa, had been taking lisinopril for 7 years, and her readings had crept up from 130/80 to 158/96. Her doctor was preparing to add a second medication. Her morning routine: cup of coffee with milk, a cup of Greek yogurt with berries, her lisinopril, and a calcium supplement, all within 15 minutes of each other. Her son, a pharmacist visiting for the weekend, watched her swallow the pill with the yogurt and immediately knew. He restructured her morning. The pill went at 6 in the morning with a full glass of water. Breakfast came at 8. Calcium supplement moved to the evening. 2 months later, her pressure was 128/78 on the same dose. No new prescription, no higher dose. Just 2 hours of separation. She sat in her living room that night, called her son and said, "All those years, all those higher doses," and the answer was the spoon in my hand. Here's the how-to, and this is the most important sentence in this entire video. Take your blood pressure medication with a full glass of plain water, first thing in the morning, at least 1 hour before any food, and at least 2 hours before, or 4 hours after, any dairy product or calcium supplement. That's it. Same pill, same dose, new timing, new results. Set an alarm on your phone for 6 in the morning. Pill and water. Then do whatever you do. Read the paper. Walk the dog. Sit on the porch. Breakfast comes after 7. Calcium supplements, if your doctor recommends them, move to bedtime. Calcium absorption is actually better at night, and your medication is long out of your system by then. So, why hasn't your doctor told you any of this? This is the part that's hard to hear, but you need to hear it. The average primary care visit in America today is 7 minutes. 7 minutes to review your chart, listen to your concerns, check your vitals, refill your prescriptions, answer your questions, and document everything for insurance. There is no time for a conversation about breakfast. There is no time to ask what's in your refrigerator. The system is built to prescribe pills, not to teach food timing. This isn't a conspiracy, and it isn't your doctor's fault. Most doctors care deeply. They went into medicine to help. But they are working inside a machine that rewards prescriptions and punishes long appointments. The pharmaceutical industry has spent billions of dollars training the medical community to think of high blood pressure as a problem of dosage. Too high, raise the pill. Too low, lower the pill. Almost no money has been spent training doctors to think of high blood pressure as a problem of timing and food interaction. And so the simplest, cheapest, most powerful interventions never make it into the 7-minute appointment. That's why this information has to come from somewhere else. That's why you have to be your own advocate. That's why a video like this exists. Now let's bring it all together. 5 foods: salt-cured meats, canned vegetables, grapefruit, excess potassium-rich foods, and dairy and calcium within 2 hours of your pill. Each one of them, on its own, weakens your medication. Stacked together, a glass of milk, a bowl of cereal with banana, a strip of bacon on the side, a can of soup for lunch, and your 10-milligram pill might as well be a sugar tablet. But here's what you need to hear before you close this video. You are not broken. Your body is not failing you. Your medication is not weak. You were never given the full picture. Now you have it. And it's a small change. It's not surgery. It's not a new drug. It's not $1,000 supplement. It's a glass of water at 6 in the morning. It's frozen vegetables instead of canned. It's an orange instead of a grapefruit. It's 1 banana instead of 3 potassium foods stacked together. It's coffee black for the next 60 minutes after your pill. That's the entire prescription. Here is the challenge. Try this for the next 14 days, just 14. Take your pill at the same time every morning with plain water, 1 hour before food. Move dairy and calcium to the evening. Cut the grapefruit. Limit canned and cured foods. Keep potassium foods to 1 serving a day. Then check your blood pressure at home, morning and evening, and write the numbers down. Bring those numbers to your next doctor's appointment. You will see a change. Most seniors who try this see 8 to 20 points of improvement in 2 weeks without changing a single milligram of medication. Come back and tell us what your numbers did. Leave a comment with your before and after readings. Type 14 days if you're going to try it. 1 phrase, that's all. It costs you nothing, and it lets other seniors know this works. And if you have a brother, a sister, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor over 60 who takes any blood pressure medication, share this video with them today, not next week, today. Because somewhere in your life there is someone whose dose keeps getting raised, whose pressure keeps creeping up, whose doctor keeps reaching for the prescription pad. And the answer for them is sitting in their refrigerator, not at the pharmacy. You are not too old to feel better. You are not too far gone to bring your numbers down. You are not stuck with the dose you're on. You have more control than anyone ever told you. The energy to walk with your spouse in the evening. to lift your grandchildren without your chest pounding, to sleep through the night without your heart racing. That energy is on the other side of 14 days of small, deliberate changes. You didn't click this video by accident. You clicked because some part of you already suspected the answer wasn't just another pill. Trust that instinct. Act on it tonight. Set your alarm. Pour your water. Move the milk to dinner. Take care of your body. It's the only home you have.